Hi there, Simon from simonwoods.com here. Natural Wines Part 2, The Reds. If you missed the first one, I did 5 what's called natural wines from a company called Les Caves de Pirenne. What does natural wines mean? Well, the definition that I heard from somebody else, wines that are unmessed up with. Let's just take that as a definition. There is no such thing and as a full-on definition. There's lots of debates, there's lots of pointless arguments, but basically the idea is to get back to, I call it punk wine. Get back to 3 chords and... interesting thing though about natural wines, I remember talking to Doug Regg, who's one of the people who is one of the high priests of natural wine at Caves de Pirenne, and he was saying, well, what tends to be being made is full-bodied whites and light, refreshing reds. It's usually the other way around, but let's see whether the reds I've got today are full-bodied or whether they're refreshing. No reason they can't be both. First one I've got, Clos de Tuebeuf, which means, I think, Tuebeuf means dead meat, I think. Well, anyway, something like that. Cheverny. Cheverny is a appellation not many people have heard of in the Loire, and I think the reds are made from a mixture of Gamay and Pinot Noir. I think they can put a few other things in there, but yeah, Gamay and Pinot Noir. Mostly Gamay, probably. Let's have a see. Well, certainly it's got what I call that earthy raspberry and violet edge of Beaujolais, made from Gamay. It smells like it's going to be quite full, refreshing though, and it's got this slightly, well, I was talking before about in the whites about like an earthy clay-like edge. If you imagine when you made clay models at school, some of that character coming through strongly. And there's something of that smell here. Joyful, young, unoaked, unhampered, untarted up, friendly, chillable, raspberry rich, plummy, juicy, gluggable yumminess. I like that. If you couldn't understand that, I'll translate. It was rather nice. Interesting that both that and the next one come with plastic corks. I don't know whether that's part of the natural wine philosophy, but hey, we're in the Rhone Valley now from a company called Dard et Ribot. And it's Crozes Hermitage. C'est le printemps. It's spring. Well, it's not spring here, it's summer, even though it is tipping down with rain. So 100% Syrah, probably. I think Crozes Hermitage, they can put some Marsanne and Roussanne in there, but I don't think anyone does. And this has got a different sort of earthiness. This is much more on that really frisky, full plum, dark fruit here, and black currants, blackberries. But it feels like it's still got, if there is something in common, it's a freshness and crunchiness about the fruit. And this smoky scent that Syrah has, smoky, almost like going into orange peel. Sometimes I say soapy Syrah, and there's like this edge of sandalwood. And that, yeah, it's soapy, smoky sandalwood and orange peel. Intriguing and tasty, it smells like it's going to be. Thoroughly charming, juicy, whereas and it's got that same friendly face as the one before, but this is a bit more serious, a bit more concentrated, deeper, gutsier flavour. This lovely smoky core, smoke not derived from oak. That's part of the soil talking there, and this Syrah character, the plummy orange peel, lovely berries, really tasty, young, juicy, vibrant wine. Yum, yum, yum. Let's see whether the next one fits that bill. Le But du Monde, La Luce, name of the cuvée, or La Luce probably here. La Luce, Côte de Roussillon 2009. Not sure what the grapes are going to be here. Main Roussillon grapes, if it's old vine stuff, it's usually Carignan or Grenache, helped by Syrah and Mourvèdre and anyone else who knows me. Well, I don't know if there is some Syrah in here because there's some of that gentle, soapy perfume that I was getting in the Dard et Ribot. And but there is again this freshness and vibrancy, this bouncy, joyful fruit. Now, is that natural wine? Is that biodynamic wine? I'm not sure whether any of these qualify as biodynamic, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're all using biodynamic principles. The thing I've found with biodynamic wines, there is this almost, someone described it once to me as the electric fruit in them. There is just this extra vibrancy and life in the fruit flavours, and it's not like they're fuller bodied, they're not riper or anything, but there is this spiky vibrancy about them, and I get that here. It's 13.5%, but it doesn't feel like it's going to be heavy. It smells like it's going to be tasty and fresh. And it is tasty and fresh. But what it does have, it's weird, I don't know which grape it's coming from. It's got a very floral character. If you watch the Natural Whites Natural Wines White video, I had a wine at the end that had this Malvasia strain in, and it had this very perfumed floral character. I'm getting that here, almost as if someone's chucked some rose petals in to give it a little bit of aroma and just broaden out the appeal. It's weird, it's full-bodied, but it's refreshing. Your mouth is left with quite full of juicy, plump, plush fruit, but then the finish is really clean, pure and fresh with this floral character. Tasty wine. I think I still prefer the Crozes Hermitage, but hey. So we're in Italy for the next one, and it's the Cos, that's the name of the bodega, Pithos, P-I-T-H-O-S, that's the wine. I think the grapes here, Nero d'Avola and which is quite a sturdy one, the black grape of Avola, and another one called Frappato, which is more on the exotic, like strawberry liqueur side. Let's see whether either of them fights for supremacy or whether they just cohabit and make beautiful music together. Now, one of the problems I have with quite a lot of new southern Italian producers is that their wines are almost just a bit too flashy and modern. In their efforts to keep their wines fresh, they lose some of the rusticity. But they've not done that here. It's fresh, but it feels like it's going to be authentic, and there's this joyful southern spice to it. Yes, there's a nice plush, plummy berry fruit. But it also feels like it's got a bit of dirty history that its mother wouldn't want to know about, and which everyone else would want to know about. Really delicious, delicious wine, and yeah, all the good bits of ancient and the good bits of modern. It is fresh, but the fruit flavours have not been tarted up so much that. It feels like there's been no winemaking artifice used to keep the freshness there. I think they've just done it by really being very careful in what they're doing. There's an ever so slightly jammy hint, bit of I was saying about that strawberry of the Frappato. I get some of that, but I also get this blackcurrant skinniness. Like if you chew blackcurrants, you get this that flavour that really comes out when you macerate the skins. And I don't think they've overdone that. It's just there in a nice amount. Bit of vanilla, bit of spice coming through. Not sure whether that's from an oak barrel or whether from the grapes. I've got a feeling that they make this in those clay amphora, but quite a lot of natural wines are now being made in those, because if the idea is to get back to basics, that's the way that the ancients used to, where they used to make their wine. Forget the stainless steel tanks, but intriguing, refreshing, full-bodied, tasty. And another one of those, full-bodied but refreshing. More of those, please. Let's see what the last one's like. I featured one of this guy's wines, well, this particular cuvée, in a video on Beaujolais a few months ago. This is the next vintage. So it's the Morgon Côte du Py from Jean Foyard. This is a 2008 vintage. Not 2009, which you'll have to wait another 12 months for, which is the best vintage in the area for a long time. But let's see what it's like. Coiled. It feels like it's like a strawberry bomb waiting to explode. It feels really springy and earthy, and it's got this meaty wild strawberry flesh. But it feels like it just needs to go ooh. And I think that if I leave that bottle around for a couple of days, I think that will come out. It's got one of these. The other thing I don't like about the wine is it's got this stupid wax around it. But apart from that, the wine smells like it's going to be very tasty. This is confident, warm strawberry flesh. Plums, delicate but full-bodied, if that makes sense. And with this earthiness. I think these guys, Foyard, they were one of the first producers to be part of the natural wine movement. But I think they've been doing wines like this for 20, 30 years. And it feels like it's a full-bodied, confident. It's a bit of a superstar, actually. I think this is terrific. I don't think I'm going to spit this last bit out, but Oh, I could drink rather a lot of that. Actually, I could drink rather a lot of all of these. If they have anything in common, none of them say natural wines on the label, but what they do have is they are refreshing but full in flavour. Some of them are fuller bodied, different grape varieties, different ages. I think that some of them will be, I think the Chevenix is perfect for this time, then wait for the next vintage to go on and then move on. But something like that Morgon, that will, I don't know, there's probably 10 years, 15 years ahead of that for those who want to keep it. So, yeah. Am I a convert to natural wines? Well, what I like is this whole idea of it may be that the practices that they have moved away from, if they're encouraging other producers of more mainstream wines to say, well, the question why they do things, why do I need that additive, why do I need to do that, then that can only be a good thing. I don't think the idea of unoaked, unsulfured, biodynamic wines will ever be majorly mainstream, but if they can rub off on the rest of the wine world, that must only be a good thing. See you soon.